Welcome back to another episode, but sadly, it is the last of the series.
Yeah, it's flown by, hasn't it?
It has, it's gone very quickly.
I still can't believe you put up with me for this long.
Neither can I.
This week we are in Melbourne. We've travelled all around the country and somehow we've ended up in Lara's hometown.
We have, and that's because you're going to take Darcy on one of his favourite walks. Plus you're going to see our cafe that we go to a lot, and I'm going to head down the coast to meet up with some caravanning enthusiasts.
Yeah, we've got all the same tips and advice, plus Lara here gets to go and meet some search and rescue dogs.
I can't wait for that, so please sit down, grab a tea, coffee, whatever it is of your choice. Keep warm, we might not, and enjoy the show. Australian Search and Rescue K9 is a volunteer organisation providing emergency services with canine and handler teams to help during search and rescue incidents. So Jeff, what kind of incidents do you get called out for?
Well, we work with a lot of different areas, so a lot of the emergency services would call us in response to a disaster such as a collapsed building following an earthquake or a terrorist event.
Okay.
And then through Vic Pol, we were then asked to deploy and we'd look for people that are trapped under that or underneath that rubble.
Okay, why do they use you guys and not their own?
Well, luckily for us, those type of events don't occur very often in Australia, if at all. So by maintaining a volunteer capacity, it means that we're still able to maintain that capability just in case, because it could be life or death.
Yes.
If, in the case of a real event, if someone's trapped and we can't find them. But we do it at a volunteer capacity, so it's at no expense to the Australian public.
And how do people train to become part of the organisation?
There's a few different components to the way we train. We have open days on regular periods so that people can come down and see what we're about.
Okay.
And that involves, I guess, testing the people to make sure that they're comfortably hidden in a confined space, buried under rubble, so the dog can find them. And then also an assessment of their dog to make sure that the dog's got the right capability to do
nose.
that. Yeah. And then the other part of that is as well, we have to integrate with emergency services. We need to make sure that if we do turn up on a disaster site, that we're not a liability to those services and that we're able to integrate with them.
Some of your people have gone through the National Dog Trainers Federation course, and you're actually a lecturer there. So tell us a little bit about that and how you work with them.
Yeah, we have. So we've got quite a few of our handlers have gone through the Dog Trainers course. And basically that course provides the guys with a really good base understanding to apply that methodology to this type of environment. So it's the same principles as training all of our other types of scenarios with dogs. It's just, in this instance, we're channeling it towards finding a missing person. What
are some of the things that they do need to have, as their little skill?
So I guess for our dogs, we're looking at dogs that are really highly motivated, whether that be for food or a toy. They love to hunt.
It is a fair bit of commitment though, isn't it?
The guys here train every weekend, and there's a pretty solid expectation that you will attend most of those exercises. It does take a while to develop that skill set and then to on-go. So in order to pass the assessment and be deployed as operational, the guys need to deploy with their dogs and find 7 victims over 4 different searches.
Okay.
And there is a time limit on that. So it's an extensive requirement for the dogs to be able to maintain an ongoing search, and that's why we need that ongoing commitment to make sure that we can meet the standard.
And here we're in Melbourne in your training grounds. What kind of exercises do they do here?
So here we have a variety of exercises that we work on. So we have our control and agility scenario. This is what we use to teach the dogs how to negotiate the rubble pile, let them know where their back feet are, get them walking over ladders and through different environments. We also have an obedience component where the dogs need to be able to heel off lead, do a stay out of sight for X amount of time, again around being confident that we can take them anywhere we need to.
Yes.
And then of course we have our search scenario. You can see some of the buildings in the background where we hide victims and we deploy the dogs to search. And the great fun about that is the dogs act independently. The handler doesn't know where the person's hiding or even if there's someone there. When they find the person, they'll actually start barking to tell us that this is where the person is.
Great, all righty. Well, if you're interested in finding a bit more, you live in Victoria, visit the ASAR K9 website. And if you'd like to find out more about becoming a certified dog trainer and doing some of this scent detection work, visit the NDTF website. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
At the start of the series, I didn't know a lot about dog nutrition. I thought it was a case of you give them a couple of bowls of kibble every day and the occasional bone, but it turns out if you want to provide the healthiest diet for them, their requirements are a little more complicated. We've met loads of folks in our travels who all sing the praises of Big Dog raw pet food. And I have to admit, I am now a convert. From improved behaviour and a reduction in skin issues, to better coats and, well, less pungent poop. There's all sorts of good that comes about from giving your dog the best diet possible. Having spent a bit of time with Chris from Big Dog, I've learned a thing or two about it. They use 100% Australian human-grade ingredients, and it's all natural, free from chemicals and artificial colours or ingredients. And there's no fillers. Just healthy, raw ingredients with naturally occurring minerals, vitamins and antioxidants. I'm no scientist. In fact, I'm probably as far from being a scientist as you can get. But what I do know is that all that technical stuff was luckily created by a brain a lot bigger than mine. But what I do have is the nous to see what a difference this has made to so many people and their pooches. So give it a go. The worst that can happen is you go back to their old diet, but I'm pretty sure you're not going to. Melbourne is a green city. It's full of parks and gardens where you and your pooch can take a walk, and the pick of the bunch for me would be in the city south on the bay near Brighton. Before I go and do that though, I've come to Jimmy Jam so I can get the day started right. They do great food for you and your pooch. They have their own canine menu. It comes with pictures, which is perfect for Darcy. They have outback kangaroo ribs. How good is that? Oh, and the coffee here is amazing. So both of us can start the day perfectly well. Oh, it's a bit chilly. A walk along the bay is one of the must-do activities when you come to Melbourne. The backdrop is pretty spectacular and the lapping water and quiet beach make it a really nice place to come and do some exercise. Little tip though, it can get really windy like it is now, so come here in the morning when it's nice and calm and there's generally less people around. Come on, Dust, let's go to the park. Okay. The Brighton dog-friendly beach is the perfect place to bring your dog, let them off the leash and do some exploring. There's sand dunes, there's shrubs, there's other visiting dogs, and I bought Darcy's favourite ball so he can come and have some fun with me. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Yeah. All right, let's take the leash off. Good boy. Well, we've made it all the way to the Brighton bathing boxes. They are pretty. They've been a tourist attraction for about 100 years and apparently there's 82 of them. But neither Darcy nor I really care about that right now. I said before that Melbourne has 4 seasons in one day, and I wasn't joking. The weather has really turned on us. It's freezing, it's blowing a gale. Poor Darcy's over it. So we've called Lara to come and pick us up. We might go find a nice warm place to have a coffee. Isn't that right, buddy? Come on, let's go.
McKillop Family Services supports at-risk children in Melbourne's West through its specialist schools and its education outreach services. But it's their Paw Pals program that's really making an impact. So I'm here at the school to find out more from Anne, the principal. And how do your services here help children that are disengaged?
Well, McKillop offers a range of programs. So we have our specialist schools here in Melbourne and in Geelong, and we also have our outreach services that moves into the residential homes to provide additional support for children who are disengaged from learning. I guess the other thing to say is that all of the children and young people that we work with have had a history or ongoing experience of trauma or adversity. And so a number of our children have been disengaged from learning for significant lengths of time.
And how does the Paw Pals program help them?
Well, I guess one of the critical factors for all of our children and young people is that the key relationships in their lives haven't been able to provide that sense of trust and safety, and so that has meant that they are not school ready or that they have significant barriers to learning.
How do the dogs in the school environment and how do they get them in there and get them learning, I guess?
Yeah, well, by developing a relationship with the dog, the child will develop a sense of trust and safety and will then be increasingly ready to engage in the learning process. So for an example, a young teenage girl in one of our residential homes had not been at school for a significant length of time, and by participating in the canine assisted learning program, she was able to come out of her room, develop that relationship with Justice, and through that process develop her literacy and numeracy skills by focusing on an area of strength and interest, which was photography for this young person. And she developed a calendar using Justice as the key
as the model?
character, key model. And yeah, as I said, through that process, engaged in the learning process, and now is re-engaged in formal learning, which is a fantastic outcome.
Yeah, and so how is it that you get your funding to enable this to happen and to run the dog program?
Well, we had run a series of pilots with individual dogs, and then we decided that we would run a fundraising project, and we established a website, and some of our donors and partners like Pet Stock Assist contributed, and we raised over $200,000, which was an incredible outcome because that will fund the program for 12 months.
Yes.
We're hoping that we will continue the fundraising process, and also that because there's such a demand for this program, we are hoping that eventually it will be self-sustaining.
So how can people at home would like to help support this service? What can they do? Is it on your website?
Yes, if they go to McKillop website, and there's a pause for kids specifically developed for donors to be able to contribute to the program, so they can do that at any time, and we would be very thrilled to be able to expand this program and increase the number of children that could begin to re-engage in learning.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Anne. Well, if you'd like to find out more, do visit the Pause for Kids website, and if you'd like to find out about Pet Stock Assist and the work that they do, visit theirs. Thank you, Justice. Yeah. Thank you, Anne.
Starstruck.
Lovely, doing a good. I know he is. It's a tough life, TV, isn't it, buddy? Hey, not so glamorous. Growing puppies have different nutritional needs than adult dogs, so it's important we get it right. Lee, what are some of the key considerations?
Of course, yeah. At each stage of development, we need to get things right. Puppies have a heap of energy to burn, and let's remember that there's calories in here, in these treats. So, yeah, that does help fulfill that need.
Yes.
But also, yeah, our bones, our muscular weight is growing, so let's think also about calcium and phosphorus. So choosing a product which is suitable for puppies is always best practice.
Alrighty, and there are so many treats around. What are some of the key considerations that we should be giving to them outside of, I guess, puppy specific?
Yeah, there's so many approaches, philosophies, formats and textures to each of these treats. It's a matter of finding the one that works best for you and for your pet.
Yes.
So I think, at least for me, kind of a high meat, natural product is where I would always go to.
Yes.
But also thinking about the function of these treats as well.
Yes.
There's a lot of different formats which can fulfill those different functions.
Of course, just for a nice relationship building treat, or whether it's a training treat, they might be a little bit different, so looking for that.
Yeah, it's about palatability and quality, and only a palatable treat is going to be used as a communication aid to build that bond and relationship.
Yes, absolutely. To get it right. And of course, it can be so easy to over-treat puppies with those little eyes, and in fact, any dogs. What is the rule of thumb?
Yeah, there's so many lessons to be learnt and so many training opportunities. Yeah, it is easy to over-treat. Rule of thumb is 10%.
Okay.
So 10% of your total calories that we should need to survive and grow every day.
Okay, comes from their treats. Wonderful. Did you hear that, Maggie? Only 10% of the treats. If you'd like to find out more about treating in general, visit the VitaPet website. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks, Lara.
Thanks, Maggie. You might get a treat if you're a good girl. Is she allowed? Have we hit 10% yet?
What? Yeah, I don't think she's had anything to do.
Oh, there we go. We can treat away. Yeah, we can treat away.
If you'd like to see more of the antics from Pooches at Play, then follow us online via Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. There's also a great website with loads of tips, training and travel ideas to help keep you and your pooch happy and healthy. You can even sign up to our e-newsletter to get special member-only offers. Just head to poochesatplay.com.
We all love travelling with our pooch, so to get some tips about life on the road, I caught up with a couple of New Age tribe members.
They're just a great caravan club. You must own a New Age band to be a member.
Okay.
They have get-togethers all around Australia. They're a great friendship mob.
Nice.
And any of the events or get-togethers that we've been to, there's always been around 50 vans.
Wow.
So there's a lot of people involved. A couple of times the whole caravan park's been booked out.
by the New Age tribers.
Yeah, or by the tribe, yeah.
And what are some of the benefits of being part of the club?
Well, it's just the support that you get with each other. I mean, quite often you pull in and you've got a problem with your van, but there's always somebody there that will come along and help you set up and help you out with your problems. So
oh, nice. That real camaraderie. Okay, and around the Mornington Peninsula, where we are today, beautiful area, what are some of your tips on some of the things that you could do?
There are lots of great walks. There are beach areas that you can go to with your dogs. Make sure that you abide by the regulations, the council regulations about times on the beach with leash-free areas. There's a nice bush walk down here in Mount Martha, the Briars, but make sure that your dog is on lead all the time because there are lots of natural fauna down there, and you've got to be careful, be wary of that. Cafes, lovely little spots to take your dog. Nice. Sit out and have a coffee. Fish and chips on the beach with your dog's a great thing to do too. I mean, so think about lots of those little things.
What do you reckon, Darcy? Want to check out one of the walks? Yeah. You going to keep up? Thank you. Don't forget, if you'd like to find out more about New Age caravans, in particular the New Age Tribe, visit their website. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Flying your pet interstate or overseas can be a little bit daunting, but fortunately, Jet Pets are on hand to help every step of the way, aren't they, Jenna? Tell me a little bit about your services.
Yeah, so Jet Pets has been in operation for 27 years, and our sole focus is the comfort and safety of our travelling pets. Our pet travel consultants work directly with pet owners to arrange a tailored itinerary depending on the requirements for the pet to travel. Our pet handlers are the people that are looking after the pets on the day.
Get the fun job.
They have the fun job of checking pets in for their flight, taking them for a walk, making sure that they're hydrated and well cared for right up until the time of the flight, and again on the other end.
So the dogs get dropped off to the transit lounge. Tell me what happens there.
So at our transit lounges, they're located just outside of the airport, and they're a great space for pets to spend time outside of their travel crates before their flight. They have access to water, they're in climate controlled areas, and they can stretch their legs, they can chat to the other pets that are there as well, waiting for flights. And I guess our transit lounges are really good for delayed or cancelled flights.
Yeah, of course.
The pets aren't sitting at the airport in their crates. We can bring them back to our transit lounges, and they're under the supervision of our pet handlers and vets. So
nice.
Our transit lounges are really about, again, the safety and comfort for the pets.
And so your team of consultants can really help make sure that you're planning the right trip for your pet as well, can't they?
That's right. So depending on where your pet's travelling to, if it's overseas, there's lots of different requirements for pets to travel, so they're experts in that. Even for domestically, we just make sure that we book the pets on the most direct flights to their location.
And tell me, you've got a door-to-door service as well, so that can help the owner?
Yeah, that's right. So our pet handlers can come and pick up on the morning of the flight, take care of your pet right up until the time of the flight, and then again at the other end, take care of all the hassle at the airport, pick the pet up and deliver them out to wherever their destination may be.
So what are some of your top tips around, preparing your pet for travel?
I guess one of the biggest recommendations that we have in preparing pets is to get the travel crate in advance and to place that in a familiar area to the pet in the home. Feed your pets in the travel crate, put their bedding in there, put some t-shirts with a familiar scent in the crate, just so that it's not an unfamiliar space on the day of travel.
Nice, happy space. We want that crate to be before they get on the aeroplane.
Yes, that's right.
What about food and water?
So we don't recommend feeding pets a big meal 8 hours prior to travel. Like humans, pets can get a bit of an upset tummy, motion sickness.
Yes.
So a light snack is okay, and we do recommend keeping pets completely hydrated.
Right.
Right up until their flight, and then we take over and make sure that their water bowls and their containers are full the whole time.
Nice. And what about medication?
So our Jet Pets vets don't recommend sedating pets for a couple of reasons. One, it can lower the blood pressure of the pet, and secondly, if pets are sedated, they're not drinking water, so they can get dehydrated. What we recommend instead, if pets are particularly anxious, is Fell-Away spray for cats or adaptable collars for dogs.
Yeah, they're great. And often it's the pet parents that are more nervous than the pet is on their travel.
That's right. It's very often the fur parents that are more anxious and concerned than the pet, and that is understandable because more often than not, it's the first time that they're flying their pets. We understand that. However, we transport pets every day. In the last year, we've transported 70,000 pets. Really, people need to stay calm because we're experts at this, and we ensure that the pets travel in safety and comfort.
That's right, so we need to keep calm, but of course if you are planning on flying with or sending your pet on an aeroplane, make sure you contact Jet Pets first before you make any plans. Thanks, Jenna.
No worries.
Thanks, Teddy. You going to take my call if I ever call up? I hope so. Would you like to win a Pawsome travel pack valued at over $2,000 for you and your furry friend? One lucky viewer will win this great prize, including a $250 Pet Stock gift card and Travel Essentials bundle, a $300 Easy Dog travel pack, an Adaptable or Feel Away calm pack, a year's supply of Vita Pet treats, and $500 worth of Big Dog freeze-dried bites and snuffle mat. Simply tell us one of the locations you've seen us visit during Series 4 and why you love travelling with your pet. It's that easy. Visit the Pooches at Play website to enter. Well, that's a wrap on another series of Pooches at Play. Hope you enjoyed coming with us on our pet-friendly travels. Morgs, where was your favourite place?
Oh, good question. I'm going to say Warrnambool. Yeah, it's a stunning drive to get there and it's a really beautiful spot.
Well, I'm afraid, sorry Melbourne, but I'm going to have to say Noosa for me just because of the warm weather and the beaches and those cafes right now. I'm just thinking of that. But I did love it all as well, of course.
Yeah, every spot was great. Hey, I hope you guys at home have enjoyed watching the show as much as we've enjoyed making it. We've had loads of fun and I cannot wait to get back on the road with Lara and Darcy next time.
Yes, we'll see you again soon. In the meantime, don't forget to go to the Pooches at Play website and download our free travel guide for you and your pet just by signing up with your email, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
See you later.